Bandwagon Buffs, man. Hell of a game. 2 win for 500. BWB. Bandwagon Buffs. That's right.
Buff Nation, what up? BWB, my bandwagon Buffs. What it is, what it does, and what it's gonna be. It's your man's Harry Billion. Family, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Make sure to give me the thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you can get the videos as soon as I upload it to YouTube. Family, I gotta go ahead and get into this video real quick, so that's all the business I got. You know what time it is. Let's work. Okay, so I'm going to start this video by just putting it out there. There is nobody in the sport of football, the entire sport of football, that is more competitive than Deion Sanders, aka Coach Prime. Nobody in the entire landscape of football is more competitive than Deion Primetime Sanders. I want to put that out there, and I want you to sit with that. That's going to help you to understand what I'm about to talk about. That translates to the coaching side of it. As he's told you on several occasions, he's a very quiet countryman who just likes to fish and probably just stay in the house. He's like a homebody, just like me. I don't like to go out. This morning, my wife is like, look, Harry, let's go get something to eat. I'm like, nah, no, my feet are cold. I don't want to get from under these covers. She had to force me to get up and go out to get something to eat. That's Deion Sanders. He's homebody, quiet, doesn't like to bother anybody. If he's in a competitive situation, he will go compete, come back home, do what he got to do. But he created an alter ego. He created a character to help him to get money. That character's name is Prime. That is the character that a lot of people don't like. I've never met him, but I'm sure if you've met Deion Sanders, you will love Deion Sanders if you just allow yourself to understand who Deion Sanders and essentially what Prime is. This is the framework that I want you to keep in mind as I talk about the grace of Lincoln Riley. I want to talk to you about competition and grace in this video. The grace that Lincoln Riley is displaying, which is allowing Prime, Coach Prime that is, to be himself and to affect the game the way that Prime would affect the game. I'm going to go ahead and give you this article, and then I'm obviously going to give you my perspective on how grace is applied to this entire conversation. So for this one, we're going to 247sports.com so that we can get the grace of Lincoln Riley. Let's go. Lincoln Riley looking forward to meeting genuine Deion Sanders in USC Colorado showdown. The Trojans and Buffaloes will be the center of attention in week number 5. This article was written by Carter Barnes. USC and Colorado take center stage in the Pac-12 this weekend in a highly anticipated matchup, and the stars will be on full display as Caleb Williams goes head-to-head with Shedeur Sanders in an intriguing quarterback battle. The Trojans are heavy favorites, but the Buffaloes have already pulled off a couple of surprises this year and could make things interesting with their home crowd behind them. Saturday's contest could be a tough test for a USC defense that allowed 28 points to a reeling Arizona State last week, but Williams and company have an opportunity to light up the scoreboard in a possible shootout. USC head coach Lincoln Riley offered his thoughts on the matchup and praised Deion Sanders for his early success at Colorado during his Tuesday press conference. I'm looking forward to getting the chance to meet him and visit with him, Riley said of Sanders. I mean, obviously he's one of the best players that's ever played our game, and so I think he'll always have an important place in our game, no matter what. Below is everything Riley said ahead of the showdown at Colorado. On the transformation Deion Sanders pulled off in one off season. He's done a great job. I mean, look at the result. At the end of the day, our job as coaches is to do what's necessary to help make these programs that give us an opportunity the best we possibly can. That's kind of the end of it. We've all seen it here. There's a lot more similarities in the transformation here and what coach has done at Colorado than there's not. I see right where he's coming from. He's done a great job with the roster. I've never met him. I don't know him, but he seems to be very genuine in his approach. Everybody's different. Everybody's got different personalities. I think when you are fake and try to be something you're not, people see right through that. And regardless of what your characteristics are of your personality, if you're yourself, you can be a great leader. And he certainly seems to do that. Seems to be very genuine, and certainly his guys have responded. On whether he heard Sanders' praise of the job he's done at USC, I didn't. We're kind of holed up here, but I'm looking forward to getting the chance to meet him and visit with him. I mean, obviously, he's one of the best players that's ever played our game, and so I think he'll always have an important place in our game, no matter what. So yeah, looking forward to getting a chance to chat with him and compete against him. On how Shedeur Sanders and Caleb Williams helped their teams from the start. It's critical. You got two coaches that came in with guys that they obviously trusted and had experience with. I don't think you can put a price tag on that from the team aspect and building the culture in the beginning, which is really, really tough. It's a lot harder than probably what people think on the outside. And then certainly offensively, we were able to get off to a decent start year one offensively. And we've been able to obviously do the same and play very well. I think it's a key part. He was smart enough to bring his son along with him. And he's played at a high level. On whether he warned the team about bulletin board material, we just try to continue to be ourselves and keep our same approach. We haven't been focused on opponents or any of the outside things. To each his own, and we've got to stay focused and we've got plenty of things that we've got to get better at and be ready to handle that have to do with us. And if any of our focus is going anywhere else, then that's not the best thing for USC. On limiting Colorado's big play ability, we've got to do a good job of it every week. College football, that's part of it. And the way the game is played now, you've got to try to limit those big plays. That'll be very important. Defensively, we're fortunate because we get to see some pretty good skill guys offensively every day that we compete against. We know this would be one of the more talented groups that we face in terms of opponents. So we'll have to do a great job. And if you're still with me, I'm going to unpack this a little bit. I'm going to talk to you about grace, and I'm going to talk to you about what this means. When I did that video about all of the Pac-12 coaches, if Coach Prime is a DB whisperer, then Lincoln Riley is a quarterback whisperer. This guy knows how to groom quarterbacks. It's like his gift. It's like the thing that he does. So he's a quarterback whisperer. Now, they haven't had the opportunity to put it all together, go to the finals, win the big one, but it's only a matter of time before this happens. The grace is that he's decided in his head to allow Deion Sanders to be himself. That's the grace that he is extending, because Lincoln Riley has his own personality. He talks about different types of personalities. So if you are somebody who understands that somebody doesn't have to be like you and they can just be themselves, if you're somebody who's confident in themselves, confident in your own abilities, and you're not threatened by anybody else's position or their confidence or who they are, then you can apply this grace to somebody else. Oftentimes when people feel threatened, they send weak shots. They speak on things that are outside of the boundaries of what they're talking. Like, we're talking football. I started off by telling you that Coach Prime Deion Sanders is the most competitive person in the entire sport of football. He wants to be as dominant as he was on the field as he is a coach. So he is still as competitive as he was when he was playing the game. I don't want anybody to think that I'm thinking everybody has to be like Lincoln Riley. Every coach does not have to be like Lincoln Riley. I think every coach should extend the grace that Lincoln Riley is extending to Deion Sanders, aka Coach Prime. That grace of, I accept you for who you are. I don't care that your personality is different from mine. I am confident in my own skin and I appreciate who you are. The same thing will go with every other coach. Also, you don't necessarily have to resort to personal shots if you are confident in who you are. I want everyone, every single coach to be themselves, whatever their personality is. Be yourself. Jay Norvell, Dan Lanning, Matt Don't Rule Jack, all of you, I will extend that same grace to say, I appreciate your personality for being different and it's okay for you to be who you are. Do it your own way. If you keep it with football, it's all good. Be as competitive, find a competitive edge without resorting to personal shots. Find a way to peel back the layers so that you can get a mental advantage over your opponent. Those are different war tactics. I'm all for that. That's what the competitive nature of sports is. You can keep it with football. You don't necessarily have to resort to personal shots. If you are confident in who you are, if you can do that, then it's all good because you're not more competitive than Deion Sanders. I'm not saying that every coach need to speak this eloquently about Deion Sanders or be this professional and be this courteous. Nah, every coach doesn't have to do this. This is obviously his personality based on the way that he carries himself, his character, and his integrity. I don't know the guy, so I don't know if he's performing or not, just trying to stay out of the fray, just trying to make sure that his guys stay focused. They're trying to go into this game quietly, and they're trying to make sure that whatever comes out of this game is going to be credited to their play on the field. So they don't want to have any distractions that takes away from whatever they accomplish on that field. They don't want to have it stepped on by silly remarks. It's possible that that is a tactic that he's taking as a leader, and maybe he's just trying to say all of the right things just to kind of stay out of the fray. It's possible. But like he said, you don't have to pretend to be somebody that you're not because people are going to see through it. People people are going to see through the BS. If this guy is not who he says he is and he's just pretending, we'll be able to see that easily. So not every coach has to do this, but all I'm saying is the grace that you apply, the grace that you give somebody else, it will come back to you. Now, this game is one of the games that I have us losing. Now, I don't know by how much we're going to lose. I know that they are in the top 5. We got destroyed by number 10. Here we are with number 5 in the nation. The strengths are going to be different. The way that they play is going to be different. Their guys are going to be different. So whatever chances Colorado has, they can try to exploit whatever weaknesses that they got in from their scouting report. This is a very good team. Colorado can come in and play upset by switching things up, making the offense more of a dynamic offense that gives different looks other than just pass, pass, pass. And then if you want to pass, 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 hopefully you would have implemented something either in the DNA of that offensive line to protect Shador. If he can get an opportunity for his guys to get open and he makes his read, he is very capable of making that pass. But it's going to be a long day if every time he looks up, he's on the ground. All right. He's always looking up because he's on the ground. Then that's not going to work. And USC will have a field day with them because this team is too good. I spoke on that earlier in the season and I said they're going to start playing teams that do not make that many mistakes. And if you make a mistake, they're going to capitalize quickly. I've said that multiple times during the season. Now, the first 3 games, you played teams that could not capitalize on those mistakes. They didn't have the personnel. These next few games are not going to be those teams. So when your offense gets on that field, you're going to have to make sure that your offense is doing what your offense is capable of doing. If you don't do that, it's going to be a long day. They do have weaknesses in their defense, but because Arizona State exposed some weaknesses in their defense, it doesn't mean that Colorado is capable of exposing those same weaknesses in that defense. Texas Tech also exposed some weaknesses in Oregon. We thought that, okay, if Texas Tech is able to expose those weaknesses, then Colorado should be able to do the same. Not the case. Because you think that Texas Tech is not that great of a team, when you line them up on the caliber of teams that we've played or other teams have played, it doesn't matter because everybody's strengths are different. They had a good offensive line so they could put up points. They had a good defensive line so they could stop Oregon from scoring or having their way all day. The strengths are different and the way that they approach the games, every single game is going to be different. But from a pure game perspective, mental game perspective, when it boils down to how we want to go into this game, whether we want to go into this game quietly or we want to give red meat bulletin board material, the way that I feel about Lincoln Riley and his USC Trojans are handling this is what you call a class act. This is what you call staying between the lines. No, it doesn't always have to be something peachy. You don't have to tell him how great he is. He already knows how great he is. That's the reason why a lot of y'all hate him, because he tells you how great he is. So that's annoying for a lot of y'all. So no coach has to ever say Deion Sanders is the man. He's not looking for anybody to give him praise. All he does is respect other people's contributions and he gave praise where praise is deserved. And you don't necessarily have to reciprocate it. You just have to just talk your talk without getting personal. First of all, it brings respect to your program, but other people get to understand that you're not some insecure person looking for attention. Okay, family, that is all the information that I have for this video. I hope you got a little something out of it. And if you did, please make sure to smash that subscribe button to help this channel grow. That's all I do here. I'm going to have to leave it right there. You know who I am. I'm Harry B. And that right there was the Liberian Perspective. That's TLP Sports Club.